If you're a competitive athlete, you know that drive to be perfect. It feels like it's part of the job, right? But what if I told you that very drive might be the thing that's secretly killing your performance when it counts? Today, we're going to get into that. We're talking about perfectionism. And this is the giant contradiction that so many high achievers get stuck in. You think that being hard on yourself, demanding nothing less than perfection, is what's making you better. But the truth is, all that pressure, it often leads to choking, to hesitating, to your performance dropping right when the stakes are at their highest. So here's our goal for this explainer. We're going to help you shift your whole mindset. We want to move you away from that toxic kind of perfectionism, the one that makes every little mistake feel like the end of the world, and get you into a much healthier, way more powerful mindset, just striving for excellence. It's all about keeping those high standards, but without drowning yourself in anxiety. Okay, so why is this so important? Well, sports psychology tells us that unhealthy perfectionism is a total double-edged sword. Sure, on one hand, it makes you super motivated, but on the other, it builds this incredibly dangerous trap inside your own head. And that right there, that's the absolute core of the problem. When you start tying your sense of who you are, your self-worth, to how you perform, a missed shot isn't just a missed shot. A bad pass isn't just a bad pass. It feels like proof that you are a failure. And this just transforms the game from a fun challenge into a constant threat to your very identity. And this is how you get stuck in a really vicious cycle. It starts with these impossible expectations. Then, because you're human, you inevitably make a mistake. That mistake triggers this really harsh internal voice. That self-attack just cranks up your anxiety, which makes you play scared and hesitant, which of course just leads to more mistakes. It's a downward spiral that just kills your confidence and leads straight to burnout. So how do you break free from this thing? Well, you have to make a strategic shift in your mental game. Now, this isn't about lowering your standards at all. It's about changing your goal. We have to clearly separate the idea of perfection from the pursuit of excellence. They are not the same thing. So let's really break this down. On one side, you've got the perfectionist. They're driven by fear of messing up, fear of what others will think. Their whole world is black and white. I either win or I'm a complete failure. Every mistake is an excuse to punish themselves. But then you've got the athlete who's striving for excellence. They're driven by passion. They're focused on the process. For them, a mistake isn't an attack on who they are as a person. It's just a piece of information, some data they can use to get better. And look, this isn't just some theory. We see this exact mindset in the best athletes in the world. To make this really, really clear, let's look at a perfect example of someone who has absolutely mastered this art of striving for excellence. Think about Cristiano Ronaldo. The guy has unbelievably high standards for himself, but his focus is always on getting better, not on some paralyzing fear that he might fail. When he misses a goal, he doesn't just fall apart, he resets. And this quote just says it all. Mistakes are just data. That's it. This ability to separate his performance from his personal value, that's the key to his insane success, and why he's been at the top for so long. Okay, so that all sounds good, but how do we actually do it? Let's get into your new game plan. We're talking real, actionable strategies you can start using right away, before, during, and after you compete. All right, before the game even starts, you've got to ditch those impossible goals. Telling yourself, I can't make any mistakes, is just a recipe for anxiety. Instead, you need to set process-oriented goals, things you can actually control. We're not lowering our standards, we're just shifting our focus to our effort, to how we react. That's what builds real, solid confidence and cuts down on those pre-game jitters. Now, in the heat of the moment, you need a quick way to reset. Here it is, the 3-second rule. It's super simple. You make a mistake? Okay, acknowledge it. You get exactly 3 seconds to be frustrated about it. Then, you have to consciously let it go and tell yourself, next play. That simple little phrase is like a mental circuit breaker. It yanks your mind out of the past and gets you focused back on the present, where you can actually make a difference. And what about after the game? After the final whistle? A perfectionist's first instinct is to just launch an all-out attack on everything they did wrong. We have got to replace that destructive habit with a more professional, more constructive way of analyzing things. So instead of beating yourself up, you're going to ask 2 simple but really powerful questions. First, what did I do well? You have to start here. It's absolutely essential for building and maintaining your confidence. And second, what is one specific thing I can improve? This keeps you focused on real, tangible progress, not just some vague feeling of failure. It's a balanced approach, and it's the mark of a true pro. All right, let's wrap this up. Let's bring it all home with the key takeaways you need to build this new, excellence-focused mindset. I want you to burn these 4 things into your brain. Number 1, your goal is excellence, not perfection. 2, that fear-based perfectionism, that is the real enemy of your performance. 3, and this is maybe the most important, your value as a person has absolutely nothing to do with the final score. And finally, number 4, mistakes are not a disaster. They're just data. They're information to help you get better. So in the end, it really just comes down to a choice. Both of these paths, perfection and excellence, they both come from a desire to be great. But only one of them actually leads to long-term success, to resilience, and to actually enjoying your sport. So you have to ask yourself, which one are you going to choose to fuel your performance? The rigid, fearful path of perfection, or the dynamic, growth-focused path of excellence? The choice is yours.